Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. We are back at it, the final day of WagonFest 2. We've had a few more lessons come and help us out. We're about to wire in the ECU stuff. We're going to run the wires for the future modifications. Ready to put the intake manifold on. We ported out the intake manifold a little bit to match this engine. I mean, you don't have to, but that would create for better flow. You see there, that's been ground out a little bit. Gotta be careful you don't get it too thin, but open that up so it matches here. Dan put an oil sensor there, a pressure sensor. It's got a idiot light and it got a connection for the gauge. Got that out of a 240, put an adapter on there, screw it in there. Should be good to go. We're wiring in the O2 sensors, getting ready to finalize the engine wiring. We're going to pre-wire for COP, which is coil over plug, cut a hole in the timing cover so we could run the fuel line over there, and we're trucking along. Another minor adjustment, that RN engine intake manifold intake gasket does not have the hole in the bottom right there, so I checked the hole in the engine and it is threaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap or drill a hole in that gasket so I can put a screw in there and secure that intake manifold on the bottom. DO88 and mounted and cracking. The wonderful thing about the DO88 is now you're pushed out about 1 inch from your shroud. So there you are. That's what you got to deal with. Dan the man loosened the radiator support bolts down there. By the way, no longer has cast nuts. So we put the bolts pointing down, put nuts up from the bottom. In case that thing somehow comes loose, we'll just see it from the bottom. The nuts will be missing. The bolts should still be there. Then he put the screws in here, which pulled that thing in almost the entire way, just sticking out a little bit. So he also did a electrical fan mod that puts the fan inside the shroud, and now you have a little bit of room to work with. The fan is not totally up against the idle control valve when we get that stuff in. So let us keep working. We need a couple more coolant hoses. Put this wiring harness stuff the rest of the way in. Put the serpentine belt on. Put the coolant reservoir there. Put some engine oil in. Put the battery in. And we should be ready to fire this puppy up. Woohoo! Good morning, class. I have another lesson. One of those don'ts. As you can see, Dan made him a homemade rib kit. That thing is looking good. We are just 2 coolant hoses away from firing this thing up in a battery and an air box. Yeah, you know, we're getting close. Anyway, Dan decided to get a Rock Auto coolant tank reservoir. Man, that thing looks good, brand new. Look at that cheap manufacturing around that cap. The cap's already got a split in it. Looks like it. Doesn't look like a split to me. The bottom sensor piece busted off and cracked the bottom of the bottle. I only use these Volvo. That thing will be brown 6 months. Like this one's brown. Probably ain't a year or 2 old. I don't do aftermarket water bottles, coolant reservoir tanks. Just don't. It ain't worth it. And we are yet closer. Get the headlight in, corner light in, coolant hoses in, serpentine belt on. Accelerator sensor was off the car for some reason. Got that in. Dan's homemade rip kit is just about done. Got to put clamp on that, clamp down there. Then you got to put an intake tube on, and we're going to check the oil dipstick, see how that's supposed to go. And this thing may be ready to fire up. Oh, he's working on the idle air control valve. He's going to put a hole in that tube with some special adapter. Hook that up like that. Well, got to messing around with the purge valve. Dan's disappeared from his rip kit and realized that we don't have nothing hooked up for this charcoal canister. The bracket's there, but the canister's still on the old subframe. And the tube that runs across there, back there, and connects back there. And I think something that had to do with the fuel pressure regulator got broke. We were trying to disconnect it, wouldn't disconnect, and we broke it. Let me go look at that. We got this here.
What goes in this? Is there a tree?
That needs to be.
Oh, I see.
Then we need to figure out what's going on with that thing. I think we broke it. It looks like we have everything needed except for this intake pipe to fire this thing up. So we disconnect the fuel pump, disconnect the coil. I'm going to crank it until we get the low oil pressure light out. And then when we get that throttle body tube on there, this car should fire up. Let me go inside, see if it'll crank, get that oil pressure light out, and call it a night. We are now looking for the key. Hey, my glasses are up there. I'm going to need those. We do have dome lights. That's a good thing. We have time. It's been hooked up for 4 minutes. We have mileage. Fan ground hooked up. We want that light to go out. Low oil pressure. Run it 10 seconds, shut it off for 10 seconds.
What?
Huh?
Why you give me that look? What, is it good, bad? What do we...
I'm letting that starter rest.
Did we get the pressure we're looking for?
No, it normally takes 3-4 times. Because it's pressurizing the whole system and getting that turbo lubricated before you fire it up. You don't want to fire it. Huh? After the 4th 10 cycle, oil pressure is dimly going out. So I wanted you guys to catch that because we got that funny sensor on there. Let me cut off this flash as well. See that oil pressure go out? Very dim. That's what we want. We could probably fire it up now. So, get that intake on, fire this thing up tomorrow. If you feel that this information was useful, Please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.